Hey guys, it's Gawain, and today we are going to be taking a look at the most mobile operator in Rainbow Six Siege, Oryx. Oryx is a 2-speed, 2-armor defense operator that specializes in mobility and soft destruction. Oryx has good guns and is the fastest operator in the game. Good Oryx players will engage in gunfights to pick off enemies and use his mobility to escape and waste the attacker's time. Let's learn how to play him. Oryx is equipped with, well, himself. He can perform a shoulder barge that sends him sprinting forward for 5 meters. If Oryx charges into a soft wall, he will Kool-Aid man through it, leaving a hole that everyone can walk through while standing, but he will take 5 damage from this. Oryx will also come out the other side of the wall with a slight concussed effect that goes away after a couple of seconds. He gets 3 of these charges at a time, and each charge is on an 8-second cooldown. You can charge through both types of barricades without taking damage and into attackers. When you hit an attacker with your Rhymer dash, they will get knocked back with the same effects as an air jab, giving you time to recover from your dash and shoot the enemy. This is especially effective when trying to counter shield operators, Monty especially. Just don't try to knife the stunned enemy, always shoot. Trust me, I learned this the hard way when a Monty shield somehow blocked my knife when he was pushed up against a wall. It isn't a good idea to go full sprinting at enemies either, as they'll just shoot you, so pick and choose your moments to stun enemies, as opportunities where you won't die immediately are few and far between. Generally, I use my shoulder barge the most when trying to traverse the map quickly. If you're in the prep phase or in a quiet area in the action phase, use your dash to get to where you're going quicker, as Oryx's shoulder barge makes him the fastest operator in the game. I tend to avoid crashing through walls unless I have a Thunderbird on the team, but it can be necessary to make an instant rotate or to go through into another room, so use your dash as you see fit. Just don't die from barging around through walls, as you can do that. Oryx has a passive ability too that allows him to climb and hang on hatches. If you go below any open hatch, except ones that lead to the roof of the building, you will get a prompt to hang on the hatch, and if there's enough room, to climb all the way through it too. It takes him about 2.5 seconds to climb through hatches fully. This ability means you can ascend floors quicker than any other operator when inside the building too. Pairing this vertical mobility with your dash makes it so you can waste a lot of attacker time whilst running rings around them. Be careful when ascending hatches, as you do get stuck in a vulnerable animation, so if you think there may be someone near the hatch, hang on to it first and just drop back down if you do see an enemy. To summarize, Oryx can shoulder barge through walls, barricades, and stun enemies with it too. He can also climb hatches to ascend faster than any other operator. These give him the mobility to be the slipperiest character in the game and waste the attacker's time whilst they hunt him down. Oryx's primary weapon options are the T5 submachine gun and the Spaz 12 shotgun. His secondary weapon options are the Bailiff 410 handgun shotgun hybrid and the USP-40 handgun. I personally run the T5 paired with the Bailiff 410. The T5 is an amazing SMG and easily one of the best in the game. Whilst it does have mediocre damage, the fire rate is great, so that mostly makes up for the lack of damage. There isn't much recoil at all, meaning you can headshot people easily and run whatever attachments you want. I personally run the angled grip paired with the flash hider. I recommend the angled grip to every Oryx player, as it allows you to get your gun up slightly faster after climbing a hatch or dashing. Run whatever barrel attachment you want, but try running the extended barrel if you can, as it increases the damage, making the gun even better. You only get access to one-time scopes on this gun, but that isn't much of a problem if you pick a one-time scope that works well for you. As for the Spaz 12, it's a good shotgun. It does suit Oryx on close quarters maps, as you can get up close and personal with people and kill them with ease. It also makes finishing off enemies you have stunned quite easy as well, due to the relatively fast semi-automatic fire rate and the decent pellet spread. Pick the Spaz 12 if you feel like getting up close and personal with the enemy, but generally the T5 is a much better gun. The Bailiff is essentially Oryx's primary gadget in my eyes, as it allows him to make rotates on sight without damaging himself, head holes and foot holes, and open hatches to allow himself to climb through them. If you use the T5 and you aren't using the Bailiff, you're playing Oryx wrong. The Bailiff is Oryx's best friend, as they synergize so well, so definitely learn how to utilize its soft destruction efficiently. The USP-40 is an average pistol with good damage and your typical semi-automatic fire rate. Not much else to say about it other than only use it when playing with the Spaz 12, otherwise forget it exists. In terms of secondary gadgets, Oryx gets access to 2 proximity alarms or 2 barbed wire. Both of these serve the same purpose. to gather intel, but one does it a lot better for Oryx in my opinion. For this reason, I choose the proximity alarms. They create a loud beeping sound cue whenever someone enters their radius, plus they give you a points notification when a new person enters the radius so you can count how many people are in that area too. As the sound cue is so loud, you can hear it from quite far away, meaning you'll know when to rotate back to your proxims as you'll hear the sound cue. Call this info to your team as well. Place your proximity alarms in areas slightly away from sight that are easy for you to flank so you can sneak up on the enemy and kill them whilst the beep boops go off. Barbed wire's advantage over the proximity alarm is that they are both bulletproof and slow enemies when they are stood in the wire. However, the sound cue they give off is pretty quiet, so unless you have your volume cranked up so high your eardrums burst every time an enemy walks near you, you're not going to hear the sound cue from the same distance you would hear a proximity alarm going off. Pick the proxims, they are way better for when you're roaming. For the prep phase, you want to make rotates in sight with your bailiff or your dash if you have a Thunderbird. Make some foot holes, head holes, or even ceiling holes depending on what the site needs. Then you use your dash to run around the map and open every hatch that doesn't need reinforcing so you can have as many routes around the building as possible in the action phase. To start the action phase, check where the attackers have spawned on the outside cams and rotate to that side of the map as fast as you can to try and get an early pick. I typically like to start in the basement if we're on a top floor bomb site, or in the top floor if we're on a basement bomb site, so if a singular attacker decides it's a good idea to push through that way, I can pick them off quickly. If you encounter a group of enemies and they spot you, spray quickly if you get a chance to maybe pick off an attacker, or at least do some damage to the enemies, then run away. Drop down or climb a hatch to lose the enemy faster and rotate to the other side of them so you can attempt to pick one off again. When you hear a proximity alarm go off, call it out to your team and rotate to it to see if you can attempt to pick the attacker off. If the attackers bring a Monty, rotate to assist your team and hopefully get a safe opportunity to dash and kill him. If the diffuser goes down and you haven't seen anyone that round, climb up or drop down hatches if needed and quickly rotate to site. Flank and kill any attackers in sight, go for the defuse and you've won the round. Oryx has a couple of counters: Nomad, Gridlock, Zofia, Lion, claymores and bullets. Nomad's air jabs will stop your dash and concuss you backwards like everyone else. To prevent this, shoot the air jab or find another way to flank the enemy. Gridlock's tracks will damage you and stop your dash. To prevent this, shoot them out. It's not that hard, but it will give away your position by doing so. Zofia's concussion grenades will stop your dash. There isn't anything you can do to prevent this, but it is rare that you'll get a concussion grenade sent in your direction whilst dashing somewhere. Lion's scan will reveal you whilst dashing. To prevent this, don't move or dash whilst the scan is going off if you can help it. Claymores will blow you up if you dash into them or climb up a hatch into them. To prevent this, shoot the claymore out if possible and be more observant so you don't run into claymores. Bullets will obviously kill you if you dash into them, so don't dash into enemies unless you catch them off guard because otherwise you're gonna die. Use your dash to traverse the map quickly as it accelerates you over 5 meters a lot quicker than regular sprinting pace. Use the T5 to shred enemies from all ranges as it's a super reliable SMG that won't let you down. Use your hatch climbability to change floors in an instant to really throw off the enemy and flank them a lot quicker. Use the bailiff to do site setup and enable your hatch climbability. Seriously, you're throwing if you don't use this thing. Learn how to waste the attacker's time and resources by dealing damage to them and rotating away with your dash and hatch climb abilities. Overall, Oryx is a middle of the road operator to play in terms of difficulty in my opinion. He has easy to use gadgets and guns, it's just getting value out of them can be tricky. Learn when the appropriate times to dash are, how to utilize hatches as much as possible, how to control the T5, how to get the most out of your bailiff, and you are sure to become a pretty decent Oryx player. Thank you all for watching, I do hope you enjoyed. If you found this guide helpful in any way, shape or form, please do consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends as it does help grow the channel, which is very much appreciated. As always, all of the clips you saw in this video were taken from my Twitch stream, link will be on screen and in the description. Apologies for this being 1 week late, it's just that the Siege servers decided they didn't want to work, so I literally couldn't play the game. I'm going to be streaming Apex in the coming weeks to get content for that series again, as I will be redoing all of my old videos for it. Maverick is next for the Siege series though, so I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye. Oh no, I knifed. The shield blocked the knife. I'm so annoyed.